I know. Now it's like this good one. So I'm Jackie Eisler, and I'm one of the students in the course. And with me, I have my good friend Robyn, and I'll let Robyn introduce herself.
Hi, I am Robyn King. I've known Jackie here for quite some time. We've worked together and been friends, and now she is doing the honor of interviewing me and bringing light to some things that should definitely be shown. So.
Thank you, Robyn. Again, thanks for taking the time out of your day to be here. Now, can you share one of your experience that we'll talk about the rest of our interviewing here, but can you share an experience and maybe describe it a little bit so that I have an understanding and kind of can see the picture of what happened and maybe some things that kind of led up to it?
Okay. In my entire adult life, I have worked in the medical field. And there was many times also when I was the only African-American person of color that happened to be in that particular office. I transferred, I was working at a hospital, I transferred to another office where I was the only person of color, period, which never bothered me because it's like it's a job. I do my job. But when I got hired in, and my coworker was an elderly lady who was white, she instantly gave me the stink eye, as you could say. She didn't care. I won't say she was racist. I think she was prejudiced. She had a lot of preconceived notions about Black people, African Americans. She would ask me questions like I was cold one day and I said I was going inside. And she said, well, can I ask a question? Sure. Do Black people get colder than regular people? I guess I don't know what that means. I was like, I can't really speak for all Black people. I can speak for me and tell you that I'm cold right now. So I'm going to go in. I took umbrage to a lot of things that she said, but I tried to just be cool about it and just let it go. Because at that time, I was raising my kids and I didn't want to make a big stink about things. Maybe I was just taking things wrong. But I have found it everywhere, honestly, that I have worked, that there's always something. There's always a preconceived notion that, if you are a person of color, that you're either lazy or they can work you to death. So it's either one or the other. It's never a happy medium.
So in that particular coworker, you felt that you believed that the reason she asked you those questions was purely because you're an African American female. Mm-hmm. And do you think there was anything else behind it? I mean, to me, my opinion, my perspective is pretty clear. So I didn't know if there was anything else behind it too that you can think of.
Jackie, I tried to be your friend. I tried to let her know that, I was not an angry Black female. I was not someone, I tried to raise my kids with, good values. But unfortunately, it was a thing where I couldn't ignore it. There was a question asked once as to, it was about dessert. Like, well, what's your favorite dessert? She loved to bake. And I said, I had to think about it. She's like, let me guess. Watermelon? Wow. No. I don't like dessert, but I do like chocolate cake. So maybe, So yeah, there were just a lot of little things, and when Obama got elected president, so angry, just very angry, and I bet you voted for him. I bet you. Did you vote for him just because he was black? And that was the time that I really kind of had some words with her, just because I was very offended because of the fact that I don't vote for anyone because of their color. I don't not vote for them because of their color. I vote for people for what they stand for, and what I believe and what I feel is right. There are lots of African Americans or people of color that I wouldn't vote for just because of their color. So it was an interesting day to day, for sure.
Wow. How would you describe the workplace culture in general outside of your immediate coworker?
The thing about it was that people heard the things that she would say to me, and they would come up to me and ask me if I was okay, and generally I'm fine. I can deal with a lot, and I can pretty much get along with anyone. But from my perspective, if I saw that and I heard that, and the things that she would say, I wouldn't pretend like I didn't hear it around her. I would address it. And I think that's the issue, is that because no one actually addresses these things or sticks up for you, then, they're just allowed to go on. It's like a blind eye is turned. So, for me, it was like, don't ask me secretly, am I okay? Because you know that I'm not. You know that this has been an issue. I felt very singled out. It's very hard to be the sole minority anywhere, but for it to be that blatant and know that someone doesn't care for you and is constantly asking you questions that are very inappropriate, especially for the workplace, or they feel like you're the exception to the rule because you're well spoken, you come to work clean, and you do your job.
Mm-hmm.
I was just really flabbergasted at some of the things that I've seen over the years, and not just that particular office, not just that particular coworker. I mean, I've been called racial slurs on the job at that same facility. I'd never been called it in my life by even a black person. So when that happened and the manager was notified, all that he said was, "I'm really sorry that happened to you," but there was no corrective action. Nothing.
No follow through.
Nothing.
So with this particular person or any other coworker, any workplace, when you've had these interactions or, racial slurs or blatant prejudice, racist comments directed towards you, or even if it's not towards you, what have you done in that situation? Just report it, have a crucial conversation with that person. Tell me what you've done.
Back then, I was a little more timid about things. I didn't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. I didn't want to make a big stink because, like I said, at that time, I had young children that I had to take care of. And sometimes, unfortunately, there are things in life that you have to deal with when you are a person of color that, you have to take. I was new, so I didn't know the manager and how she would take it. I didn't know how good a friend she was with this person. I know she counted on her a lot, so I didn't know how close they were, and she even felt the same way. So at that point, I didn't say a lot about it. Other people did. From what I understood, there were other people from other departments actually that came in and saw things and heard things, and then I was brought into the office to have a conversation. I did ask that coworker after, I don't know, maybe a year, why do you feel this way? Why do you feel like I'm a threat to you, or that I am hostile or won't do my job because of the color of my skin?
Mhm.
You know, she openly denied it, but yet, on the other hand, she disowned her granddaughter because she was dating an African American man. Literally sent her to live elsewhere when she was living with her. So yeah, it's hard for me to believe that you don't feel this way, when it's very obvious. So when she did get called out on the carpet for it, she blamed me. Like, I'm not even the one that said anything. But if that is what you would like to do, then by all means, because I'm not going to get fired or written up or drawn into your pettiness because you can't differentiate, people from the color of their skin. It's just ridiculous. Um, I'm not sure. I know she came from the South, but still, this is a whole. Let's get over it.
Right, right. So I guess fast forwarding a little bit. So now that your kids are grown and your experiences in maybe in the last 5-10 years or so, what experiences have you had, and anything in particular that kind of sticks out to you?
Oh, all the time. It's never ending. Unfortunately, it hasn't gotten better. People say that there is no bias. There's everyone is treated the same. No, you are not. This is within the past few years, that not only have I been told that this person, another coworker, was tired of, this was after George Floyd. She was tired of people who were, Black people who acted like they were just so, what were her words? Just put upon, so racially, discriminated against. I'm like, I am very confused right now. I was like, my son was tased because he was Black while walking down the street. It was tased now, ask questions later. Nobody stopped to find out if this was the person. He just matched the description. What was the description? And he was Black. And so there was a whole thing, and it was in front of patients. And
this interaction.
Yes,
Okay.
was she had no problem. I was trying to let it go, but she just kept going. I may be out of place. No, you definitely are out of place to say something like that. But you are tired of Black people acting like they have had no benefits from being Black. I'm like, I'm confused at what benefits there are. I mean, I am proud to be Black. I am very proud to be Black. I wouldn't want to be anybody else, but I'm just confused by that statement. So it turned into a really big thing, and the director got involved, and her response was, after I went to talk to her, was that, well, we just don't need to talk politics in the workplace. What are you talking about? I'm going to send out an email that we don't talk about politics in the workplace. Did you not hear what I said? That's not the problem. So I said, there's nothing going to be done. There's no, well, we'll talk to her. Okay. So nothing came from that. There was an incident with my hair. I decided to just go natural, because there's a lot of Black people that unfortunately feel like they have to try to fit into their environment and get the long weave or the curly hair, not just because this is what you want, but because you feel like this is what you need to fit into this particular culture. And so I was like, you know what? I'm tired of it. It's not doing anything good for my hair. I cut my hair off and I colored it. And my manager hated it. And me and actually someone else who had colored her hair, she made us both change our hair color back to an appropriate color.
What is an appropriate color? Black.
Black, or your natural color. It was a little easier for me, but I still was like, I was livid about it. And the other girl was younger, and hers was more of a, I mean, younger people are saying they were like really bright red, but it was really pretty. It wasn't anything that, I had gotten a lot of compliments from patients, but she felt it wasn't professional, and she talked to both of us and made us, there was a definite ultimatum there. So it was funny to me that I went to another place after that, because I was like, I cannot do this narrative here. It's horrible. And they told me, it was a PA facility, and she was so amazing to work for. And she's like, I love your hair. Don't get me wrong. She's like, but because at that point I was wearing a wig, because I was like, I can't. I need to go through that, man. She's like, you don't have to do that to be here, to be important. She's like, if that's how you want to wear your hair, that's fine. But I just want you to know that we accept you for who you are. And because when I had interviewed with her, my hair was short. It was just like this, and it was actually purple. And she was like, I love it. But going in, I was like, you look at the website and you look at the people there. It's like, I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. Right. So when I came in, she was like, she didn't say anything right away, which I think it felt like she was kind of disappointed that I had. Yeah. And she didn't know how to bring it up, but she's like, I really want you to be you. I could wear my Power to the People shirts and everything else. My beautiful Black Queen shirts, and she loved them. I mean, that was an office where you could be you, but that was a rarity. That was nothing that I had ever had in my 30 years of working in the medical field.
Where you felt the actual inclusivity of it all. Like, here is Robyn. Here's all that she is. And yes, we want you on our team.
Yep. Just how you are. Just how you are. Unless that is what you want to do for you, that's fine. But for us, we love you just how you
are. As you can see, we have a list of questions here, and some of it you already, just because of the nature of the story and experiences you've shared, just flows naturally. So I guess this isn't one of the questions, but in thinking about that director and manager, we don't talk about politics. Do you think with that, in that situation with that person, they were just so uncomfortable with what's going on that they did feel like it was wrong, but they didn't know how, and they didn't have the tools or what words and how to proceed forward, being that they're probably in a tough situation? Or do you think that, no, totally no, they took it as a political type of argument and just, let's just put it under the rug and let's not talk about that?
Yeah, it was more of a, let's just, and that's because that's the way that most things were handled there. Anything that was political at all, there was no stand ever taken on. They did not have there was no comment. So when that happens, it's just like, that's not what you can do though. I was the only African American there, and then they hired 2 more, but systematically they've all gone for one reason or the other, and we all felt the same thing. And
I'm sorry. So what do you mean they were gone? Like they left?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that like they were there. Some of them didn't even make it through their training.
Oh.
And this was what one was one was a nurse and one was the others were inmates. And they're like, no, we can't do this. You try to be positive and think that, okay, this is not it. They can't be this clueless. But They absolutely were. Um, then I found out also that the same director had a son who had a mishap with a black man. So there was a grudge there against all black people because of this particular one. And so you cannot judge everyone by that experience with your son. Just like I could not blame you for thousands of years of, or hundreds of years of slavery. I can't do that.
Or blame all white people that you've had an experience, like some of the experience you talked about. And like now you have this like rightfully so reason to not like white people.
Right. But I can't blame you for what she did.
Right.
But that was how it came across. And so then it was another instance of, well, let me ask, why do you teach your children to be afraid of the police? I don't teach my children to be afraid of the police. I teach my children how to survive the police. Because being a mother of a black son is the most terrifying thing on the planet. Because you never know what will happen. Well, I know plenty of really good police officers. So do I. And I'm not saying this is not about all police officers. This is about them being so afraid of us that they are shooting first and thinking later. That is what it's about. Why are you so afraid? You should be just as afraid of any white perpetrator or Hispanic perpetrator or Asian. I mean, there shouldn't just be this, we're going to shoot first and ask questions later. Because that's where all the problem comes from. We're not anybody we're not, superhuman. We're not non-human. We are regular people. So yeah, then she would ask me like, why do you teach them that they have to be the best and the brightest? Because you do. You always have to show your work. You have to. It's not. I can't just get by, sitting on the roads. I have to show them that I am a hard worker and smart, that I can do this. I had to work my way up to where I was, to the nail. I had to work really long hours, and whereas somebody else could come in who was fresh out of school and comes in as my supervisor.
Yeah.
But I have to train you. Well, that's interesting. Okay. You want me to train that supervisor?
Yeah.
I'm
picking up what you're
doing now.
Okay. Yeah. What is it that you would like people to know about you? What is Robyn's story?
I come from a family that was all about education. My earliest memory, we come from Connecticut. My family is from the East. My mom was born in New York. Again, a thing that people didn't realize is that my mother was a trained opera singer. So, we weren't just, bumpkins on the street. She was a great lady. But there were issues that I was born wedlock. So she wound up marrying the first person that asked her, because back in those days, you didn't, if you had a kid, then you were no longer a kid. So with my stepfather, we moved here because from Connecticut, because the jobs were a little bit better. And it was a nightmare for me because I was so used to being back east that it was so hard to make friends. And the accent, and people were like, what country are you from? Another place. But growing up, I had to learn quickly how to fit in and disappear at the same time. Just because at home things were hard. After my mother divorced him, thank God, she married my stepfather. And he was the one that taught me about family and religion and education and, also my children, the same thing, who adored him until, he passed away a few years ago from stage 4 cancer. But I always carried um, that with me, that he taught me, and I always wanted to make him proud. So I had been at my previous employer for 20 years, but after all the changes and how it became so, um, it wasn't personal anymore. It was all about money. It wasn't about the patients. I couldn't do it anymore, and I was always, is having to feel like I had to be the best and the brightest. And on point, I never didn't work. I had my email attached to my phone. I had, um, I would take my laptop home. I would work from home. I just got married, and my husband was like, even when you're home, you're not at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a decision. I talked to him, and we decided, I was like, this is not what I want to do. I'm a writer at heart, and that is what I want to do. I want to write. So he was like, if that's what you want, then that's what we'll do. I'll support you 100%. So I left. I started writing, and I started a blog because me and my family had some health issues, and I felt like, it had been years, and so many people could have been saved if we had just been listened to. Um, I learned how to speak up for myself. I learned how to not fade into the background and be in the forefront, like this interview, for instance. I would never have ever, no, can't do that. Well, why can't you? Why can't I? I've even learned that I'm a pretty good artist, and I can paint and I can draw. I'm like, well, where did this come from? So I am resilient. I am a mom of 4 amazing adults who have their own amazing little people. I'm so proud. I've made amazing friends over the years, and people who, had I not stuck it out, I wouldn't have met or wouldn't be a part of my life. But I worked really hard so that my children would have better opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You always want to give your children better than what you have. And that is what I did for them. And that is what they're doing for their children. I'm so proud. I'm over the moon. Because there were times when I was just, I don't know what was going to happen. I really didn't. I was like, I'm not going to make it, but I had them to make it for, So at the end of the day, I want people to see the issues that are out there and speak up about the issues. I mean, I know that nobody wants to make waves, but at this point in my life, I am so ready to make all the waves to the tidal wave. So I just want people to know that, we are all human. We all bleed the same color. The only thing that's any different is the outer color of our skin. And that, if anybody knows anything, it's just the basis of, where you started out. It has nothing to do with anything. So I am, proud to be a part of this and open people's eyes to some things, or just make them think that, hey, I never thought about things like that. You don't always have to clutch your purse tighter as you're walking down the street. There could be he just likes wearing baggy pants. My grandson is a lover. He's all of a sudden he's got, he wants just dreads, and he's wearing black all the time. I'm like, when did you turn God?
Yes.
When did you turn God?
Yes.
So yeah, he's not a threat in any way, shape, or form. He just got his braces yesterday. So he's just like,
he's a little sore.
He's a little sore. So trust me, But yeah, that is pretty much me in a nutshell. Mom, I'm a grown man. Now, I'm just finding out who I am and all the things that I can do.
That's wonderful.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come here. I know you have your own business and yeah.
King credentialing, which has been, I have to say, a little difficult to get up off the ground. Again, with the whole, I decided when I started my business that I would put my face on my cards, so you see exactly what you're getting, which I was told may not be the best thing to do, but why not? You're gonna find out anyway,
Right.
if we meet, but it's been complicated. It's been, a little difficult to pick up, but again, too, a lot of people have their own in-house credentialers and don't want to pay for that service. But yeah, there's been a couple meetings that I've had after they found out, who I was. That it was obvious that why they didn't want to work with me. So some Black businesses get a really bad rap as, they'll take your money, but they're not going to do anything, or you can never get hold of them. I've heard so many things. I'm like, okay, come on, everybody's not. What are you talking about?
That is a new stereotype for me. I have not heard that one.
Yes, there's lots of them. Yeah, but and how, people want to support Black-owned businesses, but, they don't, I don't want to say not up to par, but they don't consider them, say if I had a grocery store, King Groceries. Oh, but it's owned by Black people. It probably is not going to be open when it's supposed to be. They'll come in and that kind of thing.
Oh.
That's what that's going to be. So it's hard, but I'm a hard worker. I'm not a quitter. I don't give up. I've got some really good clients as well that have stuck by me and that recommend me. So I'm just hoping that people will see that once you talk to me and get. I'm usually concerned.
Word of mouth and good reputation.
I do the work. I do the work. I even do above and beyond when I'm telling you I'm going to do for you. So, I have faith. It'll come apart. If it doesn't, then it just wasn't meant to be. But there's lots of things that like I said, I've discovered that I can do that have amazed me. Right. So
it's kind of like you said, like you've gotten to know who you are, and some, I think. A really good example of like maybe that symbolism or that transformation is your hair. So it's never freeing and you can really like let yourself be.
Yes.
I think, there's more things we could say about that and be more articulate about it, but I think that's like a really good example. Like once you're doing what you want to do, you're wearing your hair natural, it takes away those barriers.
It does. And it's becoming more and more accepted because more and more of us are doing it. And so I'm like, you're not going to tell me to work here. I need to wear my hair any type of way or it be any particular color. Who said that it can't be professional? Who put you in charge of everything that is considered professional? Right. So it has been definite whirlwind the past 5 years. I've gone through a lot. I have almost lost my life twice to illness. And so at that point, I decided I was not going to take life for granted. I was not going to take the talents that God gave me for granted, because I think it's very disrespectful to think that the gifts that He gave you are not good enough to make it. So I am taking those gifts and I am going on the road. So it's like I'm just doing what makes me happy. Good. Or a change instead of what makes everybody else happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Robyn. Thanks for coming over and doing this with me. I appreciate you.
My love.
I'm gonna, what I will do then